just want us to process this. I've been collecting Pokemon cards, um, which I've been enjoying. I have like a whole collection up there. You guys can see my little prismatic box that I've had for a while now, and this whole top shelf is just filled with some Pokemon cards. And actually, I have I picked up such a good collection that I was like, okay, maybe I need to get rid of some stuff. You know, as much as I want to save it, I'm like, I have like multiples of everything, and I wasn't even selling any of it. I was just, it's just hard to find Pokemon cards that I'm like, okay, let me just save this for the time when I can't find this stuff anymore. I don't know. I just felt lucky enough to be able to find Pokemon cards that every time I did, I would just buy them. And then eventually, like now, my collection has just overwhelmed me. And so I figured, why not sell some of them? And guys, I think I accidentally became a scalper. I'm not even going to lie. I barely realized it, but I just started listing my stuff on Marketplace. And I was like, you know what? Where's everybody else putting this stuff at? Because obviously I want to, get a little bit of a return on my stuff. And then I slowly realized that I was like selling. I mean, honestly, no, I can't say that I'm like selling it for like scalper value, but I would say that I'm still getting a little bit of a return. Like some people are like putting their stuff close to like 3 times the amount that they paid for it. I'm getting it like for example, what is it? I bought like a couple of the pitch black booster bundles, and I honestly just sold those. I just sold those today. I think the booster bundles go for like $30. I bought them for $30 from Best Buy, and I just sold both of them on Marketplace for $80. $80. So my profit there, let's see, 60 is about $20. So I sold them with a little bit of $10, $10. Some of them are selling them for like $60 a booster bundle. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of insane. That's like twice the amount than they paid for it, which, that scalper, mine's like not that intense. I'm like, yeah, just $10 a little bit above, because I don't know. Why not? Why not give myself a little bit of cash? I got them. If people want to rip, why not pay a little bit extra instead of having to rush to stores and stand in lines like I had to in order to get those, and honestly, I mean, I'm in school, so like I have a little bit of free time sometimes, like during lunch between my classes, I'll have like about an hour and 30 minutes. And that's usually sometimes around like the time stores restock, stores open. So I kind of, I like collecting Pokemon cards. So I would just stop by and pick up some cards. It wasn't like I was going out of my way to try and buy cards and profit off, Pokemon. Like some people are literally trying to make selling Pokemon cards their income. Meanwhile, I'm just like, let me just see how like whatever I don't want, I'll just sell, And so, yeah, I know I was lucky enough to stop by Sam's July 21st. Oh, shit. I was trying to grab something off the top. It's our whole Pokemon. Anyways, like I was saying, I was lucky enough to actually snag two of these, right? These future fighters, right? I honestly think this is such a badass addition to my collection. I'm honestly selling this one. I opened one with my little sister because she's into Pokemon too. I got her into Pokemon, and well, she's kind of already been into Pokemon. We all kind of played Pokemon Go. Me and my brother were collecting Pokemon cards whenever we were like 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, and that kind of stopped whenever my dad just didn't really my dad wasn't really thrilled about us collecting Pokemon cards, so that didn't really develop into maybe us going full time into collecting Pokemon cards. But nonetheless, we always kind of still had a little bit of a love for Pokemon. We always thought it was kind of fun, fun little hobby to do. Collecting cards because I don't know. Sometimes you collect a cool card. Nothing too different than what's going on now, but now it's a little bit more intense. But yeah, so I actually had to stand outside Sam's like super early for this thing. And honestly, I'm not even mad about it. I'm not going to lie. The packs that I opened with my little sister from the other one, I actually pulled nothing. Like, I was actually pretty disappointed from the pulls that we got. But nonetheless, it's all about just opening the packs. I just enjoy opening the packs. I think it's fun. I mean, it's the thrill of, basically gambling, just in a different version. You're kind of just hoping to, pull a card or whatever, hoping that you pull like a $1,300 card, $1,200 card, whatever, or get a God pack, obviously. Or, I mean, even then we were kind of hoping to get different cards that weren't necessarily even the top chasers. Because, obviously it's just not about the money for the most part. To some people it is, and if it is, then, it's their idea of what collecting Pokemon cards are. This card, I actually just got my chase card that I have been looking for, and it's not even in any of the packs or whatever. It's actually the Ancient Mew. Here, I'll pull out my binder here. For the longest time, I had been trying to get this thing. Like, there we go. And I went to my first ever card show. Card show, picked up a few of these, pulled this one, pulled all these. I mean, obviously this is a promo. Pulled this one myself, pulled this Mew, or this Meowth by myself, but and then this one, and then I bought these two down here. But I had been trying to get my hands on this Ancient Mew forever, seems like. Like, I would be, like, trying to find it on Marketplace, try and link up with people on Marketplace, and, just try and find different ways that I can, because I really enjoy the card. I feel like out of all the cards, Ancient Mew is, like, one that just, let alone, you can't pull it. There's no way that you can pull this card and look at it. It is just completely different than any other card. And it's in pretty good shape. My fingernails are all dirty. I was working outside, so they're all kind of filled with dirt. Anyways, but yeah, look at that thing. That thing is awesome. I love it. Even, getting it, you see a little bit more definition on the actual card, and I think it was 100% worth getting. And, once I finally got it, it was like, it was awesome. It was awesome. And I think that's what the hobby's about. You know what I mean? Enjoying different types of cards, enjoying the artwork on the cards, and then, working your way towards collecting the cards that you like. And so, yeah, that's what I've been doing. And also, before I put away my binder, I'll show you some other cards that I've been also collecting. And it's not even any of the new packs either. They're actually vintage. I'm actually more of a fan of these vintage cards. I've become more of a vintage collector. So I've been trying to collect as much as the first edition, second edition, not necessarily even holos. I'm really just a fan of some of the artworks, and also just the fact that these were the first couple packs that came out for Pokemon. I've only gone to 2 card shows. The first one being a bigger one, and then the second one being a smaller one. Which was most recent, which was this past weekend, and I actually picked up this Dark Charizard. It's actually a first edition Dark Charizard. Where's the camera at? And I actually really like it. I worked out a pretty good deal with the guy. To be fair, it's not in the greatest condition. It has some whitening on the back, so we kind of labeled it as you know, heavily played or whatever, and because obviously it's not going to get like a 10 or anything. It's not like it's lightly played. You can see some whitening there on the corner. Um, so yeah, we kind of came into a deal. I really wanted this card as much as as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, I want that card. And so he was working with me, and I traded him one of my other cards, and we worked out a deal. I think in mint condition, that's like a $300 card, and I paid like under $100 for it. So I felt like that was a pretty good steal. It's stuff like that. I just enjoy the vintage cards. I got a first edition Pikachu too. Not in the greatest shape, but nonetheless, I still like the card. Yeah, guys. So I felt like that's kind of just been my Pokemon journey so far. Will I continue selling? That's actually something that I was trying to figure out because obviously I'm in school, guys. I work 2 jobs. I'm like trying to pick up some more cash as I go. I don't feel like I'm like going to be like a scalper where I'm like trying to buy everything off the shelves, but I think I'll buy like a couple products that, that if I come across something that are, that I want to add to my collection and then end up wanting to sell, I think I'll end up selling it, whatever. Maybe not to the market price, but I think I'm like a I'm like a scalper with some decency. Like I'll sell it with a little bit of a markup, but not completely to where like I'm making you pay like triple the price. Just you win, I win. We meet in the middle. So yeah, guys, I really have been enjoying the hobby, and the whole new kind of era of Pokemon cards, because Phil, obviously, if you guys notice, it's just been blowing up a lot lately, and so I've just kind of been following it and been trying to get my hands on some new stuff, trying to kind of expand my collection. But yeah, guys, that's just felt like I should kind of share my experience in collecting Pokemon cards and partially scalping. It is fun though. I'm not gonna lie. It's not just like if you pull a good card. It's like if the cards are gonna be at the store for you in the first place, so you can buy them. Like you know how hard it is to like just go to a store randomly and then them be stocked with Pokemon cards, or ETBs or like anything for that matter that's like out of the ordinary, like packs or cool packs, EX boxes, stuff that is more than just a Pokemon pack, that like if you got let me just turn my camera here. You guys can see there a lot of stuff just fell down, but I have like some stuff up there. I got a few tins. I had way more. I have what did I sell? I sold some One Piece. I sold some and I had just opened. So yeah, I still have the majority of my collection. It's just not set up the way I used to have it like a day ago, because I was just kind of going through it, seeing what I wanted to sell. And so it's kind of all disorganized, but whenever I have it all set up, it looks badass. But nonetheless, guys, yeah, I'm not becoming a scalper, but I may or may not participate in selling Pokemon cards. Not to the full effect that I'm going to be shoving kids out of the line and taking everything that's on the shelf, but maybe just picking up a couple extra products and selling them at market price. Is that a crime? Is that a crime? Your boy's trying to get some dollars. Your boy's trying to get some dollars in his pocket, all right? If you're like me, what are you going to do to rip them? You know what I mean? Like guys that work full-time jobs here, obviously not me because I'm in school, they can't just go to the store whenever they restock out of nowhere. I can, work a little way around my schedule sometimes that I can, like I said, during lunch or, on my way to work, I'll pass by a store, I've worked at different times. I have little areas that I can stop by the store and just pick up a couple packs, whenever I kind of have an idea of whenever they restock or around the time that they restock. Not that I get it pinpoint on. There's times where I go to the store and they have absolutely nothing. But that's like another gamble. You know what I mean? Like I remember the other day I had hit up my buddy because Best Buy was supposed to have apparently they were gonna have online. They were saying that Best Buy was gonna have like a drop, that they were gonna have some premium, what is it, super premium collection for a pack, whatever. And I've been really trying to get my hands on some of those. So I was like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? And they only let you get like one at best. It depends on what it is. And so obviously I was like, it'd be dope to have two. So let me just see if I can get my friend to come with me and pick one up. So I can have two. And he didn't really mind. And anyways, he's my good friend. And he knows that I collect Pokemon cards, whatever, and he kind of understood. And so we were waiting outside Best Buy for like 30 minutes before they open, and there's already a line, whatever. We were like, okay, it was a pretty decent line. I'm not gonna lie. Since we got there 30 minutes early, we were probably like the 10th people there. So there was already 10 people waiting. So we kind of figured like, oh, they must have something. And then by the time they opened, there was like another 10 people behind us. So there was already 20 people lining up. And then as soon as they opened, they didn't even have anything. They did not. They had some stuff, but it was no different than what they had yesterday, which was the Pitch Black 3-packs, which was not worth the wait or what anyone else thought that they were going to have. And so, it's times like that where you're kind of expecting more, or like hoping to get a better value for your time, and you don't. That's the gamble. And then just another example is like going to Barnes and Noble. Some people wait outside Barnes and Noble before they open, just so whenever they open, they can get a number, like a number in line. That Barnes and Noble hands out like these little sticky notes to people saying like, you were in line first, you're second, you're third, you're fourth, you're fifth, until their truck comes in, and their truck comes in around like noon. They open up at like 10, so it's like about an hour and 32-hour wait before anything even comes in. People are waiting to get like first in line, second in line, third in line, and then they're waiting inside Barnes and Noble for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then there's not even anything inside the shipment for Pokemon. You know what I mean? They don't get anything that of value. That's like the gamble. And that's kind of what I learned about it. You see a lot of the same people, especially here where I'm from. You don't really if you're getting into this, you kind of see a lot of the same people. You kind of how do I say this? You kind of recognize the people that are like more committed, more, because you see them everywhere. You're like, as soon as you get to Target, you know what I mean? They're there waiting for a drop or whatever, and you're not even there for Pokemon cards. You just kind of stop by, or, you swing by Barnes & Noble just to see if they have anything, and they're there. You know what I mean? You're like, holy shit, this guy's fucking everywhere. And that's what I mean whenever I say, like, for those that work all day, that have a full-time job, that still want to be able to open Pokemon cards, that don't have all the time in the world to be, waiting in line. If I got a couple extra packs, I don't mind selling them. Obviously maybe $10 more, not the extra 30, 40, 50, which, honestly, I'm sure if I did sell them for that price, I would get some offers to buy them. But I don't really want to promote that, because even Target, I think Target's actually rolled out with this new thing where they're slicing the back of ETBs, booster backs, booster bundles, whatever, so people can't resell them. They're trying to fight back against people that are taking advantage of scalpers, taking advantage of products, whatever. I personally enjoy ripping products, so like my seal, because that's all sealed. The majority of that up there is sealed, but it's not to be sold necessarily. Like, it's not sealed with a purpose to be sold. It's with the purpose of, like, that's my sealed collection. Just like how I have my single collection, I also have a sealed collection because I feel like it's just as cool. Like, to me, I get like a dopamine hit whenever I get like a dopamine hit whenever I have like a decent sealed collection. It kind of resembles the same dopamine hit that you get whenever you go to the store and they have Pokemon cards or like ETBs or whatever. Like, instead of opening that pack, like whenever I go buy a ETB or like a special kind of pack of Pokemon cards and I bring it home and I just rip into it, like, the dopamine's gone because you already ripped open that pack. You know, you rip it open. You know, you either hit or you don't, whatever. For my sealed collection, that dopamine almost never goes away because, I mean, unless I don't have a particular product that I'm looking for, then yeah, obviously I'm still going back to the stores for that product to see if they have it. But for the most part, like, I'm looking at my sealed collection without as much of a desire to go to the stores to continuously buy more Pokemon. Like, almost like I'm tricking my brain that I still have Pokemon cards that, you know, I can't. I mean, you guys get the point. You guys get what I'm saying, right? I hope whoever's watching this, maybe even nobody. But nonetheless, I'm sure somebody will see this. But my point is like when I go to the store and I see like a particular pack that I think is really cool, you know, my brain will get a dopamine hit because it hasn't, you know, it's interested in like opening a pack or seeing that pack, you know, because it's not as frequent that you might see one of those packs, you know. And so whenever I buy them and I don't open it and I put it on my sealed collection, basically, like, I still have that dopamine hit just in my room, you know, like, of not needing to go and look for that pack continuously, you know, because I have it. And so that's kind of a way that I've tamed myself into not buying Pokemon cards all the time, you know, or buying multiple of the same packs at least, because I still buy Pokemon cards pretty frequently, as much as, you know, whenever I can find them at least. I'm not necessarily, you know, spending my entire day looking for Pokemon cards because, you know, I have work, I have school. You know, on my free time, I'll, you know, try and see what I can do, you know, as long as I'm not absolutely derailing the rest of my day for it, you know. Unless I feel like there's a chance that, you know, this particular pack that I am trying to get is gonna be released, then I'll kind of go and kind of try and work my schedule around going to the store and seeing if it's there. Because obviously if you're a collector, you want to collect. You want to collect things that you're interested in. That's just anything, you know what I mean? If you're trying to get your hands on a certain thing, then you're going to try and get your hands on it. For me, in my case, it'll be like the Prismatic Super Premium Collection. That's one that I have been chasing for like half a year now. Like, I saw them at GameStop for $300. Couldn't bring myself to spend $300. Support Scalp Stop. But nonetheless, like, I still want it. And so if there's a chance, even a slightest chance, that I can get my hands on it, you know, whether it's like at a particular day, like, I try and stay updated with some of the Pokemon drops, so I know when, or at least I can get an idea of when one might drop, because obviously I still don't have it. So, you know, but for the rest of it, like, for some of the other stuff, I have gotten lucky, like for example, the Ascended Heroes Heavy Hitters. As soon as I saw that, you know, it's actually kind of a funny story, that, you know, talk about, you know, rearranging your schedule for it. For that pack in particular, as you know, that it was a Sam's Club exclusive, I had work the previous night, on Monday night, and I was already kind of figuring, like, I'm going to have to show up pretty early, if I want to get my hands on the box, and I kind of already knew some people were going to camp out for it. So after work, I got off of work at like 10:30, 11, somewhere around there. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just swing, because Sam's was on my way to my house anyway. So I was like, it's just some minor reroute, whatever. Let me just go see how many people are there right now, so I can know like how early I should come. Like if there's somewhat of a lot of people, then I'll come at like 3 a.m. If there's not really anybody, then I'll come at like 5 or 6, whatever. Just can get a head start, whatever. I pull up at 11 p.m. Monday night. 11 p.m. There's 100 people waiting outside that motherfucker already. 100 people. I was like, no way. I already knew, like, if I don't stay here right now, the chances of me getting them my chances already were really slim. But I'm like, after whoever's in line, there's not like, this is like the ground of like, you're getting it or you're not. You know what I mean? Like, there's a chance that even if I stay here at 11 p.m., I might not get this. Anyways, so at 11 p.m., I got off my car and waited outside Sam's for 9 hours until they opened at 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. because I had the plus membership, whatever, because that means you get to go in the store an hour early. By the way, if you guys are hoping to get into a Sam's drop, especially for a pack like that, make sure you guys have the plus, because nobody with a regular membership got an Ascended Heroes box. Nobody. All the people with plus membership, that's how many plus memberships they got. They're like, oh, you got a regular one? Good luck. Like, you're not going to get, the only thing that you're going to get is a glance of the palette that they came on. That's all you're going to get. It was absurd. Like, that's what I mean whenever you have to, in order to get these types of cards or these types of packs, you have to literally go out of your way to get them. And so, as much as I want to rip this second pack, I kind of understood my luck from my original, from the first pack that I opened. I opened up one already, 14 pack. It was cool. I just wanted to experience it. Obviously, I didn't wait outside that line for nothing. And so I opened them up with my little sister, and we had a good time. We opened up some Chaos Rising ETBs and booster bundles. So we had a bit of a good time. Splurged out on my sealed collection. I think we opened up about a little bit over $100 worth of packs. So that was pretty fun. But nonetheless, after I opened that up, I kind of already understood, like, okay, even if you open up 14 packs, you're most likely going to come out with like a $10 card. And I understand that if you have a love for the game, that you're probably going to open up the second one too, which I definitely do. And I was literally like, we were flipping a coin continuously to try and convince ourselves to open the second pack. But to our luck, it kept landing on we're saying heads to open the pack, and surprisingly enough, it kept literally back to back landing on tails. I think we flipped a coin about 10, 20 times, literally. Like, it was only like a few maybe like twice, 3 times that it landed on heads, but we kind of got the idea, like, okay, we can't open up this pack. If we're leaving it up to luck, eventually, yes, we're going to get the answer we want, but if we kind of are staying by the rules that we kind of set for ourselves, then, let's not open the pack because the coin says, we left it up to a coin toss and we lost. We were not able to open up those packs. But nonetheless, I did get my dopamine hit, and dopamine hit, that's kind of funny term to use, but that's what it is. You kind of enjoy, you get a dopamine hit whenever you do something you enjoy, and I enjoy opening Pokemon cards. And so I got my little pleasure from opening up the first pack, and so now I'm considering selling the second pack, because obviously I'm in school and I don't make the greatest money working 2 jobs and going to school full time. So why not try and make a little bit extra cash on the work that I did to get this back? Not exactly like, obviously I want this one. The one that we opened, I was gonna keep in my collection for a while, but my little sister comes in from out of town. She goes to college outside of town, and so we don't really get too much time together. So why not? Why not kind of spend some time, some valuable time? Why not? Who else? Who else would you want to open up those types of packs with? Other than your good old little sis. Especially, I want to give my little sister some good memories. You know what I mean? Not everybody gets to get those memories of opening up a 14-pack Ascended Heroes. Those people that were waiting in line, unless you pay like $300, $200 now, whatever the pack's worth. Unless you pay that extra charge, then you're probably not going to be able to experience that. So why not give my little sister a little bit of a cool experience, opening up a bunch of Pokemon cards. But yeah, it's kind of just my Pokemon journey so far. It's been pretty fun. Been giving me some good memories, honestly. Been enjoying it, as it goes.